Hello, everyone. Rob Goslin here, Director of Space. Welcome to our highlight reel, where we share some of our upcoming classes with you. These are just a few of the amazing modules we offer each month in space. If you are interested in more information to enroll or to vote on these courses, please check the individual links below. We look forward to seeing you in space.
One of the most relevant works we can read right now was written in 1826 by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. Set in the 21st century, global pandemic, rapid environmental change, broken political and social institutions, The Last Man has it all. It's a powerful philosophical work of apocalyptic science fiction, but it's also a deeply personal work, an autobiographical novel, because Mary Shelley writes herself into the future that she has imagined. And she includes people she loved, like her husband, Percy Bysshe Shelley, and her friend, Lord Byron. I'm Dr. Amy H. Sturgis. I'm faculty at Signum University, and now I'm also in space. And I invite you to join me in exploring an important and beautiful work about what it means to be human while living in unprecedented times. I hope to see you in space as we meet the last man.
Nieman Hao. My name is Robert. I'll be a space preceptor for this module called Warring States Era Chinese Philosophy, Attaining Flow. We'll be focusing upon Warring States Chinese philosophy and philosophers, which is a foundational part of Chinese historical philosophical thinking, similar in some ways to the role that the classical Athenian philosophers played in the history of European philosophy. That is to say, there's other Chinese philosophy after this, but this is foundational. We'll be focusing in particular on the thought of the Confucians, the Taoists, the legalists, and the Mohists, and more specifically, the thought of Confucius, Mencius, Xunzi, Laozi, Zhuangzi, Han Feizi, and Mozi. We'll be looking at some of the ways in which they're similar, the kinds of issues that they're concerned with, as well as many of the ways in which they're different from each other. So this is hopefully a good foundational course. If you have any kind of interest in philosophy, Chinese philosophy, Asian philosophy, it is this time period and these thinkers that are the most foundational. Without an understanding of them, it's difficult to understand much of what follows. So come join us. I really look forward to working on this material with anyone else who is interested. And hopefully this module will run again and again. Thank you.
Bayo Yazund, Old English or one Old English phrase for hello, be well, be sound. So I'm here to talk about for a moment the wonders of learning Old English and telling you, a little of my experience was way back when I was in college, these many, many centuries ago. I was taking a linguistics course, and that's where I got introduced to Old English, studying the history of the English language, and I had just begun to find out who this Tolkien guy was, and the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and how much the language that was Old English and the languages, or some of the languages that are in the Lord of the Rings, resonate with one another, and I got just terribly excited. So I undertook the study of Old English, and here we are. And all these years later, I still love it. So let me introduce to you a series, an ongoing series of advanced readings in Old English, and advanced simply because we're not using a beginner's textbook or anything like that, but sitting down with a text or part of a text, each module, to read Old English. And for many of us, including myself, this also means looking up a lot of vocabulary from time to time. But the idea is to familiarize ourselves and read what is available in Old English. And so sometimes we read some things that are really well known and are typical in an Old English class at a university or college. Things like Beowulf or the Wanderer, from the poetic tradition, but we also read things from the prose tradition. And so we've read Apollonius of Tyre, and we'll probably revisit that text at some point. We've read some homilies, and we've read some other prose texts. And there's many more that we haven't. We haven't really delved much into law codes or charters or the medical books or anything like that. But, right, there's a lot to choose from. And so each month, each individual module, alternating between poetry and prose, we take on a new text and see how far we get. There is no rush. There's no need to rush. So we go at the pace of the class wants to go at, and we can stop and pause and ponder things and what this word means or what this context means or what is making sense and all those kinds of things. So it is a really, really good time, and we have some really great people, and I invite you to join us. So Godna Dai, good day.
Hi, I'm Julian, and I'm here to welcome you to my Harry Potter book club. We'll get together twice a week to read through the series at a pretty relaxed pace, following Harry's adventures as he battles the evil Lord Voldemort, masters the ways of magic, and discovers his destiny. We'll spend 1 month on each of the first 3 books, and then 2 months each on books 4 to 7. This book club is all about sharing the moments of unexpected, joyful discovery through close reading. Sometimes that means simply geeking out over our favorite parts. Sometimes that means discussing aspects that we find problematic, and that's fine, so long as we do it in a kindness-first way, showing respect for one another. My book club is a safe, supportive, welcoming environment which has no place for bigotry. I'd love to talk about historical and mythological allusions in the series, unpack themes like friendship, heroism, good versus evil, and tackle big questions about our relationship with the text. What was it about the Harry Potter books that resonated with so many people? To what extent is it possible, or indeed desirable, to separate art from artist? To what extent does a story belong to its readers? But most of all, I'd love for folks to share their own experiences as we go on the journey together. It'll be so much fun. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in space.
Hello there. The creative writing team in the Signum University Space Program is excited to announce our brand new offering.
We've been running creative writing classes for 2 years as standalone modules. Now we want to offer you a new experience to support your long-term projects.
It's called Novel in a Year. Over 12 months, you'll take your story from idea to draft to publishable book. Along the way, you'll have guidance in storycraft from us, your preceptors, and running feedback from your classmates.
Each module in the series will draw upon lessons from previous classes as we build a community of writers, going through the journey together, encouraging each other every step of the way.
Sounds like a big commitment. What if I can't do all that?
That's fine. Taking the full sequence will give you the richest experience, but each module still works as a standalone. You can jump in at any time, and it's fine if you have to miss some months.
Okay, but I'm really nervous about submitting my story for feedback.
I get that. At other places, writing workshops can be intimidating and unfriendly, but here at Signum, we've worked with students to develop a different way of doing things. It's all about kindness and encouragement.
It's called collaborative feedback. We start by asking what kind of feedback you need to help your story thrive.
We believe everyone has stories that matter, and sharing them makes the world a better place. If you're ready to tell your story, we hope you'll come join us on the adventure. It's going to be so much fun.